2022, 15% of children were living in poverty in America, facing challenges ranging from hunger and food insecurity to difficulty in school. Some of the leading causes for poverty include a lack of access to social services, a lack of education, and discrimination. In this PSA, Kylie and I will be interviewing two people who struggled with each of these challenges. Caroline, our first guest, will tell us about the importance of education. Caroline?
Hi, I grew up in a low income home with four siblings, all younger than me, and my parents struggled to raise us. I lived in an underperforming school district. By the time I got to high school, I was failing the majority of my classes. I really only cared about my job and making money for my family. There was no way my family would ever be able to afford to send me to college, so I decided in the middle of my junior year to drop out so I could work more hours and help out around my house with my siblings.
Interesting. I can imagine how prioritizing school when you lacked access to other necessities was nearly impossible. How did this decision you made 10 years ago affect you then, and does it still affect you today?
Yes, it definitely does because there's no mobility in my job as a minimum wage worker because I don't have a high school diploma. I saw a statistic that about 25% of people without a high school diploma are living in poverty. No matter how much older I get, I can't move to a higher paying job. I encourage my younger siblings to stay in school. My parents found out about the free childcare assistance program, which is available in most states in the US. We qualified for it, so nobody would have to worry about taking care of my siblings for a few hours after school ends.
Thanks for sharing, Caroline. I'm glad your family eventually found access to that resource. Marg, will you tell us your story now?
Yeah, hi. I grew up in a single family household with a parent who had a disability. As a child, my family often lacked access to very basic resources because my father wasn't able to maintain a steady and consistent job. According to the National Disability Institute, the poverty rate for adults with disabilities is more than twice the rate of adults with no disability, and the whole family struggled as a result. We often did not have enough money to afford consistent meals or pay the rent, and we were constantly moving from one place to the next. I think that's something that is often forgotten is how children of parents with disabilities are often affected by this in many ways. I remember going to school hungry, hoping that a friend would have some leftovers at lunch. I got in trouble for not paying attention in class, and my grades were never high enough for me to get into college, even if I could afford it. Looking back, I wish that I was more aware that there are resources that could have helped, such as the National Disability Institute's Financial Resilience Center. Resources like this could have helped my father, which in turn would have helped me.
It sounds like a little bit of help would have gone a long way for you. We know that without Social Security, 21.7 million more adults and children would be below the poverty line. Additionally, about 6.2 million children under the age of 18 lived in families that received income from Social Security in 2021. Kylie, do you have any thoughts to add?
Yeah, so as each of these interviews demonstrated, just one or two resources would have made a big difference in their lives. In general, if children followed the so called success sequence, their odds of escaping poverty are higher. In fact, 97% of millennials who were able to follow this success sequence are not living in poverty. The three steps of this sequence include successfully graduating high school, having and maintaining a full time job, and waiting until marriage to have kids. Society has a responsibility to do everything in its power to contribute resources that allow children to follow through with these steps successfully. Thank you.